You can't go out playing golf having fun.
Fun. Senor, you have obviously never played Wingfoot.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
You've got to be kidding me, Vegas. On Monday night. There's my picks for this week. Now, if you want next week's picks, I can give you those by Friday.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Championship Weekend of the NFL season. We are here with the Wingfoot locks, down to 4 teams, 2 games with the chance to go to the Super Bowl. Joe Messeri here on camera with you. Now, Greg Hoyle couldn't line up his schedule, so he decided that he was going to have to record his picks for Championship Weekend, and he's got a special guest picker with him. Take a listen to who Greg likes this weekend, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the back end.
All right, Joe, Championship Weekend, and since you won't podcast with me, we've got a celebrity guest picker, Lincoln. Lincoln's going to make some picks for this week. Say hi, Lincoln. Oh, hi. Hi. All right. So Lincoln is thinking about mortgaging his future education and putting in mega tees on the Chiefs and the Niners, both to win on a 7-point tease. It's really tough because Tennessee has been handling everything really well. They beat the Chiefs earlier on this year, but I think it was a much different Kansas City team. Mahomes was not healthy, and the defense wasn't playing like it's playing now. So I think just look at the way that Kansas City is, number one, handled the moment, and I think Tennessee's been handling the moment pretty well, but just comes to a point where you're just playing a much better opponent, and a head coach that's been there before. Andy Reid's not gonna get nervous, and then Mahomes seems to be handling the playoffs really, really well. So definitely like the Chiefs. We're gonna have some props. You got to follow the hashtag according to Hoyle, because we've been hitting pretty high percentages on the props, but I need to wait a little bit longer for those to come out. So we like the Chiefs. Now, you can't lay the 7.5. I was talking with one of my buddies yesterday, excuse me, who's got a Chiefs 7.5 bet. If you're taking the Chiefs minus the points, you gotta buy it down to 7, because when the Chiefs win by 7, late backdoor cover or something like that, you don't want to be pissed off being on the right side and not buying it through the key numbers. So you gotta take Chiefs minus 7 if you're gonna do that. And then the Niners, Green Bay, the Niners smoked the Packers early on this year. I don't think that was the best representation. I think the Packers are going to play much better. I think that'll be a much tighter game. But if we're talking about just to win, I would say the Niners. Just a little nervous, though, with the performance earlier on this season, that you can't really, in my opinion, take the Packers plus the 7.5, because if they show up like they showed up earlier on this year, you're going to be on the definite wrong side. And if you tease in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion, it's either going to be a close game or a blowout like it was first time around. So that's what I am going to end up going with. Basically, I'll have going in just picking the 2 teams that are going to go to the Super Bowl, and I will go with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers and you can basically get those and lay a good amount of wood on that. No opinion on the over-unders at this point. If some new information comes in, I'll tweet those out as well. Again, hashtag according to Hoyle. I think the play is just simply going to be the Chiefs and the Niners teased down 7 points, basically making both of those a pick'em. All right, see you guys at the Super Bowl.
Lincoln, don't do it, buddy. Do not mortgage your education on a teaser with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Look, I understand the appeal of just having Kansas City and San Francisco to win the games this week, but I think that if you're overlooking the Tennessee Titans, you're not remembering what they've done the last few games. They are not a sexy team. I get that. But they are a team that is clicking. And I know they've got to go on the road for the third consecutive week. But let's not forget the New York Giants were a very similar team when they went on the road 3 times in one of their Super Bowl runs. The Tennessee Titans squeaked into the playoffs, and now they are making teams pay for that because they are the type of football team that will hit you in the mouth. And I think that's going to give Kansas City a lot of trouble this week. Look, Kansas City could win this game by a field goal, and you could be sweating it out the whole time, and it's just not worth it to me. I think if you're going to go in a tease, it's worth it to tease the Titans up to 14.5 if you have that opportunity out there, 13.5 or 14.5, depending on what your options are, and go that route rather than taking the Kansas City Chiefs just to win outright. Vegas is definitely banking on one of these favorites not winning because that teaser is going to be the most popular public play that you've probably seen all season, taking the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs and teasing them down. So let's look at this game a little bit here. Kansas City and Tennessee obviously played earlier in the season. That game was in Tennessee, and Ryan Tannehill led a drive, scored a touchdown with very little time remaining on the clock, as Tennessee ended up winning that game 35-32. We all know that Derrick Henry has been dominating by running the ball, I think, 30 times a game over the last 3 games. He's put up historic playoff numbers with the yards he's been running for in each of those games, and even threw a touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens. The Tennessee Titans have beaten the best defense in the league in the New England Patriots and the best offense in the league in the Baltimore Ravens. So they will not be intimidated playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And I do think that there will be some fatigue for Derrick Henry in this one, because when you've carried the ball that many times in that many consecutive games, it's got to wear on you a little bit. However, I think that they will continue to hit the Chiefs in the mouth this week, and I think that's going to give Kansas City problems. On the other side of the ball, we know that Kansas City has the experience having been here before. Last year they played the New England Patriots, and it was a coin flip in overtime that determined the game. The Patriots and Tom Brady getting the ball first. They drove down the field, scored a touchdown, and then they went on to the Super Bowl. Mahomes never got to touch it. I think that this year they are coming in now as the favorite, and it's a little bit different when you're the favorite than when you're the underdog, which they were against the New England Patriots last year. I think that Andy Reid has been here before. We've seen it a couple times with Philadelphia and with Kansas City. And his track record in championship games is just not that good. So a lot of people are saying that they want to see Andy Reid get there, that he's due, and he's an excellent coach. But you know what? I think he's got an equal on the other side in Mike Vrabel, who has been able to play different games based on the opponent that he's been playing so far. They won that game basically 14-13 against the Patriots before that last interception at the end of the game that was taken back for a touchdown. And then they went and absolutely destroyed the Baltimore Ravens and dominated that game, which was really impressive, if you ask me. So this is going to be a good matchup between these two teams. I would not go against a team that's clicking, especially when I can get 7.5 points with them. I think that you take the Titans plus the points, even if Kansas City wins this one, and you go to the Super Bowl, you go with some more money in your pocket there, knowing that the Tennessee Titans are going to keep this one within a touchdown. That's my play for that game. As far as the 49ers and Packers are concerned, when you look back at that earlier blowout, I was thinking about the situation. Green Bay was coming off a bye. They were the healthiest they had been all season. The 49ers were a little bit banged up, and they still went to blow out the Green Bay Packers. I was really thinking that in this game, we're going to be able to see the Green Bay Packers run the ball and keep it close, because Matt LaFleur has said that the times the Packers lost this season was because he gave up on the run. That happened against the Chargers, that happened against the 49ers. However, I think that the 49ers right now are the healthiest that they've possibly been since the season started. They had the bye in week 4, and we saw the way that defense came out in the divisional round against the Minnesota Vikings. They were absolutely dominant up front. That's exactly how they looked early on in the season before they started to get banged up. I think with just one game under their belt, the fact that some of these guys had some rest and were really healthy coming in to the divisional round, I think that 1 week isn't going to kill them. We saw that they had a run of about 4 or 5 weeks where they were getting 4 or more sacks a game. I think we're going to see that continue this week, and I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are in real trouble. The one thing I will point out is that Ahkello Witherspoon for the 49ers has been an absolute sieve on defense for them. I think he's going to get benched to start this game. I think that the backups have done pretty well over there, and I think that they will shift over enough help on Devontae Adams that the Packers will not be able to score against this 49ers defense. Now, I think that the San Francisco 49ers offense, it still leaves something to be desired. I think there are still some question marks about Jimmy G coming up in a big game, and I think that the Smith brothers, Preston and Zadarius Smith, have been absolutely dominant for the Packers, and that's the one chance that they have to stay in this, is if that defense can help them get to Jimmy G. The problem is they're just not stout enough against the run. I think that eventually, late in this game, the Packers defense will break. And I think that will just be too much with the 49ers running backs when you've got 3 of them, that eventually that defense, that secondary will start to sneak up for Green Bay, and they will hit a shot over the top to one of their wide receivers, whether it's Emmanuel Sanders or whether it's George Kittle or whether it's Bourne. It doesn't really matter. Once that defense starts to sneak up, I think the 49ers can take advantage over the top, and that's the difference in this game. Look, when you got 2 teams like the 49ers and the Titans that have running games like they do, it's just like a body shot in a championship fight. You keep pounding, you keep working the body, eventually those hands drop, and you get a clean shot at the head. I think that's how both of these championship games are going to play out, especially in the cold over in Kansas City. And I think that the Titans plus 7.5 and the 49ers minus the 7.5 are the way to go. I'm not saying they're going to end up in the Super Bowl, but remember, it's not whether you win or lose. It's whether or not you cover the spread. Thanks for joining us all season long. Enjoy championship weekend. We will see you in 2 weeks as we get ready for the Super Bowl. And don't forget to check out the hashtag According to Hoyle for prop bets before the Sunday games. Thanks for listening all season long. Enjoy championship weekend, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody.